Welcome back.
We're back. The
good thing about recording episodes back to back is nothing.
There is nothing good about it.
The good thing about recording episodes back to back is the fact that we kind of are already in a flow. Like by the end of the episode, we're kind of in a flow.
But the downside to that is we might run out of things to talk about.
Yep. I'm lactose intolerant now.
You already talked about that.
Yeah, I'm lactose intolerant. You're about to go get surgery.
If you're
main camera's out of focus.
That coffee's making me burp. If you're looking for a good protein source, I just talked about this with him, and I amazed like 3 people at the office today. It is a brand called Isopure. And it's a protein powder that you put into your drink, and it basically turns it into a juice instead of it turning into like a milkshake.
It's like a lemonade almost.
Yeah, it's good.
It's really good.
And if you're like a person that works out a lot and wants to hit certain things, that's a super easy way to do it. You can even put 2 scoops in there if you want.
I just chugged a protein shake, and it's so thick that like it's hard to down.
Yeah.
And
it sits in your stomach.
Yeah. With this thing, it's like you kind of just sip. You can sip on it through the day.
Yeah.
Like even if it sits there for an hour,
you
can kind of just pick it back
up.
Oh,
I've had it all day at work.
Shake it.
Yep. It's great, man.
What kind of
alternative?
Yeah, good alternative. What kind of like student were you in school?
I was the student that was incredibly smart and didn't try at all. I was that really annoying kid. The one that didn't study.
I can see that.
The one that didn't really take notes, and then would just show up at the test and get a B+ or an A-. Didn't even think about it.
Like, were you an A, B student always in school?
My GPA rose the more academics I did. So I think in high school, my GPA was like a 3.5.
Star Wars.
My GPA was a 3.5. I think my ACT was a 29 or something, 30. And then
I don't think I took those.
Well, you wouldn't have had to if you weren't going to go to college.
Yeah, I didn't take any.
And then my undergrad, it was a 3.6 or 3.7, and then my master's degree was like a 3.9.
Can't you just say 3.9, like an adult?
3.9.
3.9. His IQ was 39.
Yeah, my IQ just dramatically low, just barely functioning. Just
for the college.
So it rose, but I could not always do what I did before though. Once there were certain like really serious hard classes, I actually had to study a ton.
Did you take any like art or music or anything?
Early on?
Like in school?
So I opted out. I don't know how you could. You could either take music class or take band. And from that moment on, I took music class. Instead of
so like music theory or music history.
It was when you hit middle school, you either had to like take music class, just like a random music class, or you could be in band and it was a class, and then you like picked an instrument and you played that.
Yeah.
Until you didn't want to anymore. So I just picked the music class, which was just like very light music theory, and I only had to do it for once a quarter for 3 years, and then I didn't do any in high school. So
interesting.
Yeah, so I did that. What else? Yeah, I just didn't try. But they didn't. If they didn't make it hard enough, why was I going to?
Yeah.
Like if I was gonna produce it the quality that I could, and you're gonna hand me an A, why would I try any harder?
That's true.
So I never did. So you said you were grazing it. It probably wasn't for lack of intelligence. It was for lack of just like churning.
I knew I wasn't going to college. Yeah. So I also didn't try in school. But I also didn't do well in tests.
Well, you didn't try. Did you turn all your things in? No. I always turned my stuff in. I
almost never turned in homework.
Okay, well, there's your answer. Your lifeline, your buoy that you're hanging on to, you just threw it away.
Yeah, I never did homework, mainly because I didn't want to.
Yeah, no kidding. Man, that's a special
I just knew
thought.
I wasn't going to go to college. I knew that I wasn't going to be like a scientist or a doctor or a teacher or anything like that. So I just didn't care.
It's hard, man. Like half of high school is just teaching people work ethic and life skills and not actually the class. But when you're that age, you totally don't know that at all.
Yeah.
Because it was really annoying. What was really annoying is my classes in college were almost the exact same. My gen eds in college were almost the exact same as my high school classes.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, okay, so now I'm paying you to learn what I already learned,
Mm-hmm.
and I can put in the same amount of effort.
Yeah.
Cool, I guess, because I already know this, so it makes it easy, but that's really stupid because now I have to pay you for it.
Do you know what class I always had an A in, though?
Gym class.
Gym class.
Those are, yeah.
Always. If you fail gym class,
There were ways to get
if you
B's.
fail at gym class, you're a drug addict now. You gotta be.
Well, how could you hit that low? You're like, if you didn't get an A in gym, you are almost probably addicted to heroin.
If you did, I'm gonna guess. If you didn't get an A in gym, you had a kid in high school.
Oh, that's good, man.
If you didn't get an A in gym, like, how do you not get an A in gym?
Actually, I got a B once in gym. Because I did really bad on the test, the final test. Just flunked
the last day of high school, my sophomore year, the last time I took gym, because you only had to get like 1 credit of it in high school. The last day of gym, it was the gym exam, and I walked up to the teacher, and I said, "Hey, like this is my last," because I moved from Fairfield to Kings.
Yep.
And I said, "Hey, what grade do I have in this class?" She says, "I'm pretty sure you have an A." I said, "If I don't take this exam, what will I have?" And she said, "Probably still an A." And I was like, "See ya."
Yeah.
I legit said, "See ya." I got my friend's car and went to his house and played Halo.
Well, seriously, why would you? Probably still an A.
No point.
Why am I here?
Yeah.
Why am I here?
Yeah. Like, dude, you want to see how good at gym I am? Like, you want me to take a test so you can see how good at gym I am?
Yeah.
I usually.
Do you remember how it was graded?
There was like part physical and part written, and I was just like, what's the point, guy? I had an A in engineering, in our like CAD class where we did like design stuff, which has helped me in my life in the later years. Did very well. Usually, I always had a B, sometimes a C, but usually B in math. The rest of my classes, I was like a C, D, F student. I failed history my sophomore year, and I had to retake it as a senior.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Mr. Guilfoyle, Tim Guilfoyle,
just flunked you, baby.
No, he's the one that I had to take it as a senior.
Oh, okay.
He was also my
what history class was
my sociology teacher, and what world history?
Oh, world history.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like World War II, like all that crap that.
Dude, I love that stuff.
Don't give 2 rips about.
Dude, I love that stuff.
Why?
So it's super interesting. History's interesting, man.
It doesn't affect my daily life though.
It does. You just don't know it. The things that happen then affect.
Yes.
The way that people believed and thought.
But
and things happen affect how you.
But me knowing about it does not affect me in a positive way.
Sometimes it does.
I'm gonna disagree with you there.
That's fine.
Knowing what day that World War II started does not
right.
help
Okay,
me.
that might be one of the questions for your thing, but one of the greater ones is like, why did we let World War II happen, or like, how did we even get to that spot?
Because we were lazy.
Or yeah, that's probably what it was. We were lazy.
Yeah.
What sucked is the classes I was good at I didn't like, and the classes that I was not as good at I actually liked more. Actually, okay, so once again, not to toot my own horn, there wasn't any class that I ever in high school really.
Did you ever get an F?
No.
Ever get a D?
Nope.
Ever get a C?
Probably maybe 1, maybe 2.
Wow, we live very different lives. We lived very different lives.
Yep, that was my life.
Wow.
And
Laura never got a B, I'm sure.
Never got a B?
Never got a B.
Always A's. Well, that's what gets
you.
Hey,
Laura! Did you ever get a B?
Did you ever get a B in high school?
A B in school?
Yeah, in high school.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever get a C in high school?
I didn't.
Okay, see? So we're about on the
Did
same
you ever
page.
get a D ever in anything?
D or F?
No.
Not even on an assignment?
What about a C?
On tests I did.
Okay.
But never
Like in a class, did you end a semester with a C ever?
The only C I ever got was when I lived in Greece and I took Greek.
That'll do.
You and I live very different lives.
And me.
And you.
I'm more like that.
Yeah.
Well, there's your answer.
Yep.
Very smart
I just
wife.
skirted on by.
Yep.
Never did homework.
I always.
I
do
would
it.
say I did homework 20% of the time.
That's very bad. That's a failing grade right there.
That's
But he
But there w-
holds a job now. He provides. Just
I and like in math, our teacher, um, he was friends with my mom growing up, my math teacher, and I was like friends with his daughter. We all went to the same church and everything.
really.
And he was the best teacher I've ever had, Mr. Bauer. He
Shout out to you, Mr. Brown.
shout out Mr. Bauer if you're listening. Probably not.
He's
though.
not listening. I can tell you that.
Mr.
Mr. Bauer's not listening to our podcast.
We would do like so. Our class was like fit. You can go upstairs now if you want, or you
No.
can listen.
Oh, you're done?
No, I was still talking. I
Oh, no
just
more
don't-
questions?
sarcastic.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I wasn't.
What?
So our class was like 50.
Sorry.
Let's say 50 minutes long. He would teach us for like 30 minutes, and then the last 20 minutes of class, he would like, okay, do your homework. The answer booklet's at the front of the classroom on the thing.
Oh my
if you like can't
gosh.
figure something out, and then he would just sit there for the rest of it.
Hopefully he's not still teaching because you just got him fired.
No, people know. People know.
People know.
He's a
Right.
football coach now, I think. So
Oh, okay. So he's fine. He's allowed to do that.
he's tenured.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you're a smart person. Good.
I'm street smart.
Academically.
I'm not book smart.
Well,
That's
here's
like-
another thing. I'm not holding this against you at all.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh, you're stupid. You don't like to read.
No,
You don't like to learn about history.
not really.
But the way that my personality is built
If it's on a
is
Netflix
to want
documentary,
to
maybe.
learn.
I love learning about
You
serial
learn
killers.
visually too. You don't learn through text,
Correct.
which is not helpful.
Another thing, like for the Bible, for instance, like I know as a Christian this is gonna suck to say,
Sure.
but I don't enjoy reading the Bible.
There are a lot of people like you, and that's not.
And I was never a kid like I can't tell you all the books of the Bible in order.
Okay.
Like
Does that make you a good Christian?
and well, I used to think so. I used to be embarrassed that like if somebody said turn to Hebrew and I couldn't like turn exactly where it was,
Right.
I would be embarrassed. Now I have them in alphabetical order in my Bible app, you know? Like I don't know, that just like obviously reading the Bible and living that out, that's important, but like knowing where it's Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus. Knowing where like Romans is in the Bible, like turning into my Bible knowing exactly
You're
where
hurting over there, bro.
Gosh.
You're saying,
knowing exactly where
Amazing.
knowing exactly where Romans is and turning it right to it in my Bible is not like important to me anymore. Like I'm not embarrassed anymore about it.
Yeah.
You know.
I'll say this.
But I'm a bold human in general, so like
Yeah.
it's there's very few times in my life where I get embarrassed now.
Yeah. But I mean, even there's good qualities and good things that comes from Bible verse memorization, but I wouldn't be like, oh, you're not a good Christian because you didn't memorize enough of them,
Yeah.
or it's harder for you than it is. For example, my mom she legitimately gets upset because it's very hard for her to retain textual information. So memorizing Bible verses almost impossible for
Yeah.
her.
Or I can read it over and over and over again and still not get it.
Sure.
Also, probably not a surprise, I have very severe ADHD, which has
There you
caused
go.
me to have reading struggles growing up. So
Yeah.
like I have a hard time focusing, obviously.
So you also didn't have like a, not that it's nostalgic, but you didn't have like a life or a childhood of reading where that was just something you do.
Nope.
So like, why would you start now? Does that make sense?
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, I don't want to. There's
And
nothing.
and I know as a Christian, like I've got to read the Bible and I need to get better at that. But like, I just don't like reading. Like I can do it on audio, but I don't like sitting down
Sure.
and reading devotional. Like it's just not enjoyable for me,
Sure.
you know. And I know
Yeah, all of
there's
work is not
sacrifice.
supposed to
Like
be enjoyable. Yeah.
I know, I get it. Like as a
Discipline is not
Christian, I
always
need to be a
enjoyable.
better Christian and read the Bible and all that stuff. Like I get it, but it's not enjoyable for me. It's not something I want to do. I feel like whenever I read the Bible, it's something that I have to do.
Well,
Does that make me a bad person? Maybe.
your honesty is better than just not saying
Yeah.
anything. So
Yeah. I'll say this. I don't do it. I don't not read the Bible or in general because I'm lazy. I don't read because it's truly not enjoyable for me.
it's literally
Like
taxing.
some people just love to sit down and sit on the
They
patio with a nice book.
like the whole thing. The
Yeah.
waking up early, the making the coffee, the setting the things out on the
Yeah.
table, the
Yeah.
Laura
Laura
devotional here, notebook
loves
here.
that.
Yeah.
I just it's honestly like I wish I read the Bible more, but I forget to read the Bible a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that might be a time issue, not a reading issue, but like
Yeah.
a time balance issue. But anyway,
I
in
would
any
say
sense,
like if it was like something that I enjoyed,
have you
then
ever used Dwell?
I downloaded it. Noah told me about it, but I've
Didn't
not.
use it. Okay.
I haven't
I'm wondering
used
if
it.
that could help you because it's audio.
Yeah,
So even if you just listen to it instead of reading it.
it might.
Yeah.
I definitely do need to do a better job of that. But yeah, I don't. I've never like I. The only time I've read is when I've like had to read.
Sure.
Like I honestly cannot tell you the last time, if ever, that I've like, other than like that devotional over there that I did like a quarter of, that bought a book and said like
I'm
I
gonna
can't
read
wait
this.
to read this.
It's
Probably
totally
never.
not my life. This is embarrassing on the opposite end. I think in the past 2 weeks I've read 3.5 books probably.
That's I can I've not read 3.5 books in the past 5 years.
No way, bro. Really?
I just don't read. I don't like reading. I'd rather watch a movie.
Woo!
I'd rather watch a movie. Hot take, I'd rather watch a movie.
Dang, man.
Sue me, I'd rather watch a movie.
No, I think our culture's moving that way for sure.
It's just like there's nothing. First of all, ADHD real bad.
Oh
But
yeah.
there's nothing enjoyable about like reading a book to me.
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. I will say I really do. In just some genres, I think are better to watch than read. Obviously, you're going to say every single one of them are, but like true crime, a good true crime documentary is better than a true crime podcast, and both of those are better than reading some kind of true crime book. It's just better.
I'd rather listen to a podcast. I listen to probably 5 to 8 podcasts a week.
Yeah, which is good. That's more than most people.
Reading, nah.
Yeah.
Reading,
It's not, well, there has to be some point where you have to say, I have to read something at some point. But you can still use the majority if you're learning and your fun and your ability is auditory, then just do that. It's not that bad. But you have to, you can't just be like, no, I'm not going to do that at all. Just like if another person is like, I hate listening to stuff, they're just never going to listen to anything. That's not good. There's got to be a balance, is what I'm saying. How's it going over there?
I'm just trying to like.
I feel like I shut you. You're just shutting down. The
No.
robot's out of batteries, baby.
I just like there's not at this point I just don't enjoy reading enough to where I don't think it's ever going to be enjoyable for me. There's like nothing that you could do that would like make
a revitalization from the work of the Holy Spirit.
It would take a revitalization.
It would take a literal miracle.
It would take the Holy Spirit like doing a big shift.
An act of God.
Which could happen. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I've honestly prayed for the desire to read the Bible. And I still
it's
just not there.
Did you ever read any of the books you were assigned in school? Like for English class?
Cliff Notes.
And that works too. That's what's sad. Like
Yeah.
you can literally cliff note it online and be like, yeah, that's good. I got the story. And then take the test and be fine.
Like that's the thing. Like I get there's like hidden messages and like things to take away, but like that stuff's never stuck with me. What's stuck with
Or
me
you didn't
is
enjoy it
is
either,
the
so you don't want to
story.
talk about it.
Yeah. What's stuck with me is the story. So like I don't know. Give me the premise.
But you can do that about movies. Right? Like you can do the same thing that people would do to literature that you would do to movies.
Yeah, but
like you
they're
would be like, dude, that guy's always wearing this outfit because he represented this. And that's a BA movie. They would do that in books, but you just obviously reading's not your thing. So but like as far as a story and like the capture of creativity, you're all about that. It's just the avenue that it's being done.
Yeah, like I said, I wish that I enjoyed books.
Sure.
I wish that I enjoyed, the swashbuckling, swashbuckler in the story.
What
damsel
effing story are you talking about?
damsel in distress.
Oh, that's Swashbuckler and Swashbuckler. That's my favorite character. Yeah,
like
I get
if
it,
I
man.
would have, yeah, I think that's why I have no nostalgic connection to like Harry Potter. Like Harry
Well, I
Potter,
didn't watch
it's
any
fine.
of the movies for that either. So
But
that didn't
have you read
help.
the books?
I have not. Not done either. I am one of those people that have not read the books or seen the movies, and I'm also a person that's at the stage that I don't know why I would start now. I'm sure it's actually really good. I just always have more things on the docket to read or do.
I
And
mean,
that
I've
never
watched
makes
them.
it to the top.
I also wasn't allowed to watch Harry Potter growing up.
Yeah.
Like,
You talked me through that whole scene. Whatever your Yu-Gi-Oh cards got all jacked up.
yeah, my Yu-Gi-Oh cards had to cut them up. But
What a
God
life.
bless. Yeah, I don't know. I just reading is not enjoyable to me. I'd rather, instead of listening to a character developing, instead of reading a character. God, what is wrong with my brain? Instead of reading
Because you don't read enough.
a character developing book, I'd rather listen to a character developing podcast.
Sure.
I'd rather listen to Keith Meniere in a Renew or on a podcast than read a book by Keith Meniere.
Case in point, you will watch Snyder Cut for 4 hours and watch. I mean, talk about development. That thing's so long.
Yeah.
You'll watch that and get it and be like, yep, either good job or bad job, and here's why, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. But anyway, you can do that and be like, here's the reasons why, I think this or that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can still do it. It's just the medium. You said bad job? You don't like Snyder Cut? I thought you said you liked it.
It was better than the original, just all over the place a little bit. Too much.
Oh, that's what you're going to get when
too much mud.
Long.
Yeah, too much mud.
Were they trying to... I still haven't seen it yet. Were they trying to do too many things in that movie? They just should not have done that many things.
I think they did a better job of developing the characters than they did in the original cut, whatever it's the... but I think it was too long, and that's why I feel
kidding, it's too long.
I think even if it was 3 hours, but I got a lot of character development and not a bunch of like... Because I think because it got to 4 hours, because originally it was supposed to be 4 parts, like a 4-part series, which it has like part 1, part 2 in the movie, but like it's still one movie. Like it goes together like a movie. Because it's 4 hours, I think now they're like have to fill time rather than
cut it somewhere. Yeah. Leave something on the floor.
Instead of like, oh, we don't have enough time to add this in, so let's cut it. It's the other way. It's like, oh, we have 4 hours and 10 minutes to fill. Let's throw this in, even though we normally wouldn't.
Yep.
And that's what I don't like. I can't believe I didn't talk about this in our first episode back. But I discovered a show recently called Fit to Fat to Fit. And I'm obsessed.
I don't know anything, so please... As much as to them as to me.
Yeah, so Fit to Fat to Fit, basically, there's a personal trainer who he has all these clients, and he's like, I've had all these clients, and they say I don't understand, and I realized the biggest problem with me coaching people is me, because I've always been fit. I've always... I've never really understood what it's like to lose all that weight. I've always been athletic.
Is it a documentary?
It started with this guy who did the thing, and then he started a show where other people do the thing. Okay. So this guy, he gained 75 pounds.
On purpose.
On purpose to lose the weight with a couple of his clients, so that A, they can see, no, you can do this. And B...
That's super interesting.
Yeah, and B... So it's on YouTube. I mean, it's...
Oh, it's a YouTube series.
Yeah. It was on Lifetime, but it's on YouTube. I watched it on YouTube. I mean, there's like 10 episodes on there, and I watched them all within a couple of days. It's so good. So the guy gains 75 pounds, loses it, becomes ripped as heck, and then so he challenges...
How long does that take?
So it takes 4 months to gain the weight.
Okay.
So like
75 pounds in 4 months.
So the guy goes in, and he's like, these clients come in and say, like, okay, so like I'm gonna train you, like kind of tell me about your life. blah 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 blah. Okay, well I do have a surprise for you. I'm actually going to be gaining 60 pounds and then losing the weight with you. So the people like have to kind of wind back a little bit, but at the same time keep like a similar lifestyle. Like so sometimes the first it's either they have 2 months to gain the weight and then I think it's they have 8 weeks to gain the weight and then another 8 weeks to lose it with the person. I'm pretty sure. Um, but they like the people don't know until they go do this consult. Then the personal trainer says,
Yeah.
"I'm going to be gaining the 60 pounds and like losing the weight for you. So we won't start for 4 months, but I'm going to be gaining all this weight." And then so like the majority of the episode, it like I would say half or more of the episode is the person gaining the weight, eating
Okay.
but like a lot of these people are like it's 2 months in, like the depression is setting in, like I'm getting all these side effects from like but like I'm also really enjoying this food because I've never enjoyed food like this before and it's like way too enjoyable. So I'm at this like crossroads, like I honestly don't know if I want to be fit again. And then they end up hitting their goal of what they're supposed to weigh, then they lose it with the person.
Interesting.
So it'll
Good
be
show, huh?
it'll be interesting to see with all this like political correctness and stuff, if they're gonna continue to do that because
Why?
because because big is beautiful now. Like
This is my.
you're not supposed to like put someone down because they weigh like there's no science to prove that like or that's not that there's no science to prove like if I'm happy then that's what matters and it doesn't matter how unhealthy you tell me I am like
This is what's the problem. You can't change where you're from, what you look like, your genetics, your parents. You have almost, you don't have complete control of anything. You have almost complete control of what you eat and drink. You do control that.
yeah
So then you should be. I'm not saying that you should then judge people or wrongly talk about them, but you control that.
well people are like well my genetics this and my genetics like
Sure, you might
there's
have more
nothing
difficulty or
there's
not
nothing
difficulty.
you can tell me nor is there any science available to prove that if you weigh 600 pounds, A, that you're healthy, and B, that you can't lose the weight.
Right, and I understand there are certain health things that make you retain more water weight or your thyroid has issue. I get that, but there's a difference between being even. Let's just say you're not ripped, you're fine, or you're a little overweight. There's a difference between that and being like 150 pounds, like
morbidly
rough
obese.
weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge difference, man.
Yeah.
So anyone that's like that, and this is really hard for me too, because I actually had just been talking about this with my mom and my sister, who has done great. She dropped, like it was something stupid, like 5% body fat, and in a certain amount, it was like 2 months. She destroyed it. She did really well, and she had been talking to my mom. She's like, "Why do you shame?" People that don't do what you do. And she's like, I'm not shaming them. And then I got into the conversation because she called me. She's like, I'm just sick and tired of people moaning and groaning about their life and not doing anything about it because it's completely possible to change it if they want. They just don't want
Yeah.
to. So don't give me the excuse that your life sucks and you can't do anything about it. You can do something about it.
Well, also scientifically, there's like I mean, and you'll even see it in that show. Like, there's links to eating a bunch of sugar and unhealthy stuff, and like depression and like all these other things. Like that, it's not good for you emotionally or anything to be eating like crap like that.
Yeah. I was just talking to, by the way, Isaiah and Charlotte look great. They both hit their
They both
hit their goals for their wedding, which is this weekend, and they both look great.
yeah.
I saw Charlotte yesterday, and I told Isaiah she looked awesome, man. He was like, "Yeah, she hit her goals." So, what was I was talking to Isaiah today, and I was just telling him how frustrated I was with people in general. But I said, "Isn't it crazy what being healthy does? Like being healthy is being healthy. Like what it does to how much easier it is for me to sleep, how much more I feel like I have work ethic to do work, how much better I can think, how my emotions are like more capable of functioning correctly. Like all of that is all just because of what I eat and what I drink.
Yeah. This is a really bold statement, but, I haven't been canceled yet.
Oh gosh. I don't know what you're going to say.
Overweight people
Watch
can be
out.
attractive.
Okay.
Being overweight is not attractive.
To you. Or in general.
In general.
You're saying
In general, being overweight is not attractive because it's not healthy.
Sure.
Like, you can't say, like, oh, I'm just going to be this way because, I'm the happiest, blah, 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 blah. Like you're going to die early because you're happy,
And you would
And
say, and I think
I would say that you would be much happier
that's exactly what I was going to
if you lost the weight.
I was going to say, you would probably say that the benefits of actually becoming healthier would make you more happy.
Yeah.
Like, why would you not
There's
want to?
tons of and I'm not a scientist or whatever, so I don't have like links to provide, but like there's a link to mental health and being overweight, and like I don't know, I think people could be a lot happier. Like I have a friend who he's done one of those like pyramid scheme like weight loss things, but he's lost a ton of weight from it. And he's like, him and his wife, they've each lost like 70 pounds or something crazy like that. I don't unfriend him on Facebook because he's being annoying with it.
Oh.
But
he's one of those guys, huh?
yeah,
All right, good for him.
like,
man.
but he's lost a bunch of weight, and like he's just way happier now, which is great.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I don't know.
I get it though. It's hard.
I'm not at like the weight that I want. Like I weighed myself today and I'm back up 4 pounds from where I was last week, which is, fine. I weigh 197, like, which isn't terrible.
Yeah.
But like, I know, like I enjoy in the moment eating like wings like I did yesterday. But like, there's a couple things for me, and I know everybody's different. I want to look in the mirror at myself and say like, I'm happy with the way that I look. And I know that even like bodybuilders and people that are super cut still like want to progress. Sure. Like I know you want to get better, but like,
or worst case scenario, you have a mental disorder like body dysmorphia and
yeah,
disorder, things like that that make that all convoluted.
And that's
anyway.
I'm not talking about that. I'm mainly talking about like I want to be like confident in myself. And there have been times where even though I didn't have a six pack, like I looked at myself in the mirror, I was like, I'm really happy with the way that I look and the way that I feel. But like right now I weigh 197 and I feel kind of gross. Like I wish that there's almost like feelings wise, there's consequences to overeating and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And like I've felt like crap and I've slept worse the more that I've eaten like crap.
Yep. Yeah. And what I was going to say is I know it's hard. Like, I'm not saying that any of this is easy. I'm not saying that depending on what stage of life you get, that it's going to get any easier. Mm-hmm. I also understand that once you have kids, the easiest thing to do is just eat the macaroni and cheese that you made them, and you don't want to eat the healthy thing and then go out and buy that. I get it, man. Like, I know that it's hard, but if that's something, basically what it is it's not important enough for you to do that you're going to change something about it. You have a lot of other things stacked up on top of it.
There's also longevity to it. I mean, like, why do people stop smoking cigarettes? Why do people want, like, there are people who smoke cigarettes and they're never going to stop. But why are there people that want to stop smoking cigarettes?
Covenant Eyes is all about restoring human connection, and it's available to help you gain back a life of freedom. Covenant Eyes is designed to help you and your loved ones live a life free from pornography, and they have exceptional tech support, and they make it actually really easy by giving one accessible report across all your devices. Jeff and I know loved ones currently using or having previously used Covenant Eyes on all their computers and their devices, and it's helped them get free from addiction, and it's helping tens and thousands of people in their recovery today. We wouldn't have a sponsor from a company that we don't believe in, and we firmly do believe in Covenant Eyes and their mission. So check the link in the description to sign up and use our code DREAMLOUD for 30 days of free service.
You know, whatever the consequences are, you know, they think about their children, their own health, whatever.
I mean, yeah. Why
The
can't
money, whatever.
Why
you
isn't
think.
the same true for
Food?
food?
I don't know. It's just viewed differently.
I mean, like,
I think gluttony, and I talked to Dan about this once. I think gluttony in America is totally not even thought about. Not just about food, but about things and stuff. Gluttony in general, totally not thought about in American culture.
yeah, yep.
It's just weird. Like we have outlets and places to go where we eat so much that we don't want to move.
But people also say that like eating healthy is like more expensive too, which
I just talked to.
I don't feel as though that's
Who did I
true.
just talk to somebody? I was on the phone with someone, one of my buddies from school, and I was telling him. I said it's actually because I was talking about finances and how to just random stuff. Anyway, I said eating healthy has actually made me lower my price item per item is probably more expensive depending on what you're getting, but you don't have the like random crap in your cupboard all the time and the snacks that you overeat and the amount of times that you go out to eat all of the junk. All of that gets cut out. Sure, the individual items you're getting may be a little bit more expensive, but holistically, you're not buying as much just junk.
Also, water is free, and your body
Needs it.
your body needs it. But like people always think they're hungry when they're just dehydrated.
Yes,
your
that's
body,
a big point, man.
Your body can't tell the difference sometimes between, oh, I'm dehydrated or I'm hungry.
Yeah.
So oftentimes when people are hungry, they're just dehydrated.
Yep. I'll be
And
at
so,
work
like-
and I just need a drink.
So,
Water.
and then there's people who do like, whenever I was meal prepping, the price per meal is like $4 a meal and it's healthy.
Yep.
Like if you go get a thing of peppers, a thing like a big bag of rice, like a big bag of rice, you can get them at Kroger for like $5 or something like that, of like long grain white rice, and then go to like Aldi and get a pack of chicken.
Depending on what your sauce you want to be.
Yeah,
what your
it's-
sugar-free sauces.
Yeah, maybe it's like maybe it's like $25 up front, but that's gonna last you 6 or 7 meals. The white rice will last you 10 to 12 meals.
So how much did I spend? I basically just made a chicken Alfredo protein pasta. It was literally 15 or 16 meals. It lasted me an entire week. You have to be okay with eating the same thing.
Yeah.
I ate that pretty much every day for like 8 or 9 straight days.
Yeah.
It came out to like $2 something a meal.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't get any cheaper than that.
Yeah. I mean, if you really like it might suck for a while until you kind of get used to it, but like I don't crave soda anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge too, right? Like you actually don't like when you're like, oh, cake's nice, I'll eat cake. But there aren't as many times in my day where I'm like, I just want to destroy an entire pint of ice cream. Like I don't think that a lot.
Yeah. Like sometimes I want a treat, but like
Sure.
you know,
And then
like
you
I can
learn
also
to
make
be okay with treats that aren't up here. They're like right here, and that suffices for you.
and I don't want to sound like a douche, but like it's all about like creating a lifestyle. Like
Oh, absolutely.
it's not-
That's how you beat out all the fad diets.
you don't want to create a diet. You want to create a lifestyle. That's why like I get a lot of people lose weight on keto, but like that's why keto is like so unhealthy, because as soon as you get off the diet and start eating normal food, you're going to gain a bunch of weight back.
Yep.
Because you're switching from high fat to,
Whatever.
So,
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
yeah, and I don't want to spend this whole thing talking about, overweight
Fitness
people and
nutrition.
stuff. But I just think it's really important for people to like take care of themselves, and unfortunately, technically, if you want to get biblical about it, like gluttony is a sin.
Yeah. Yeah, like,
So says
I
the
heard.
Bible.
I was talking to Isaiah at work today, and I told him I remember one thing from one of the guys I was talking to in college. They had said about his spouse that I was like, that's a great point that I have never thought about. And he said the reason that I like work out as much as he was pretty darn in shape. I work out as much as I do, the nutrition I do as much as I do, is because I love my wife.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it's not because I love myself, and it's not because I love myself looking at myself in the mirror and everything's about me. He said, in 30 or 40 years, Yeah, nice job, Jeff. He said, in 30 or 40 years, I don't want to have my wife have to worry about my diabetes or the medical issues that I easily could have not
Sure.
done if I was just healthy my whole life. And if this is a way to love my wife better, sure, I'm physically fit, that's attractive, whatever. What I'm also doing is helping her not have to handle things that she didn't have to handle because I was wise with what I did with my body.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a super good point, man. I've never really thought about that.
I mean, a gym membership, let's say it's $10 a month. If you can't afford that, there's other ways around it. You can take a walk. But a gym membership is $10 a month. Like, get up the extra 30 minutes early. Like, gyms have showers. Get up an extra 30 minutes before work.
Dude, you don't even have to go to the gym. Just start running.
Or just start
And
walking.
manage your well, it does take time. Manage your food intake, understanding what is actually healthy for you and what's not. Because some stuff, I like when I started doing it and had known a pretty solid amount about food, you don't really understand where you're like, dude, peanut butter just has a ton of calories and it's not going to fill me. But this will fill me up really quick and it doesn't have that much in calorie intake or whatever. Like, you learn that over time.
A gallon of water is $2 at UDF. Go get a gallon and just fill it up. I drink a gallon of water every day. Try to get it down.
Just try to get it down. Try to do it all at once. Just shoot that thing right.
Try
at the
to
beginning of the
walk
day.
every other day for 30 minutes. And like cut out the junk. Like it's hard because you get cravings of junk food in the beginning. But like I said, soda was a huge culprit for me. And yeah, I drink sparkling water, so I get that like fix.
Yeah.
But I just don't crave soda anymore. Like I'm not ever thinking like, man, I could just really use. Like sometimes I'll get, like we went to Vic's yesterday and I got a Diet Coke. Like
Sure, because you're at a restaurant, you're
know,
having a good time with
yeah.
some soda.
But I also fit that into my like macros for the day.
Yeah, you understand you're having a diet. And that's big too. And I've always been a proponent of this. We were already talking about buying things. You won't eat what you don't have. So stop screwing yourself over and buying crap and then having it around. Once again, I understand this is way harder when you have a spouse that's not on the same playing field. You have kids, whatever. You have grandkids. You go out to eat with other people. I understand. But the more that you can do that, where you're like, okay, I didn't eat a gallon of ice cream today. You know why? Because I didn't have a gallon of ice cream.
Well, there's also like those like ice cream bars that Laura...
There's substitutes, man.
Well, it's like it tastes amazing. It's chocolate chip cookie dough. It's an ice cream bar. It's 100 calories.
Yeah. Do you know the Ben and Jerry pints? Excuse me, are 1,300 calories. My sister or my mom got that because this is Mother's Day.
The Talenti ones are only 360.
I was gonna say the Halo Top ones are the same size, 300. 4 times less. Yeah. I like Halo Top. No, it's not as good as Ben and Jerry's. I don't expect it to be.
But it's kind of the same thing
It's
as like
fine.
drinking sparkling water instead of soda. Like over time, you're gonna not crave it. Like that's gonna start.
There's a reason why people that are wine taste testers don't drink soda because it ruins their taste buds.
Yeah. Well, like, and I used to drink sparkling water. I'm like, man, this is gross. Like, there's no flavor to it. Now that I mainly drink sparkling water, like flavored sparkling water, of course. But now that I drink sparkling water, like when I drink Coke, like I can only drink one, or else, like I'll start feeling sick.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, I had to get a water because, like, I drank a Coke or a Diet Coke, and it like
it's weird, man. I felt terrible last night because I had because of and this sounds stupid, but it's just how it was. I had 3 hot dogs and chips.
Yeah.
I don't ever eat that. So then my body's like, what the heck is this, man? And I felt terrible for like 5 hours.
And I mean, Chipotle. Go to Chipotle. I can put a lot of food away, but if you go to Chipotle, ask for extra rice, Dude, and then just split that up over 2 meals. I mean, $7 and that's 2 meals. That's $3.50 a meal.
Yep.
I mean, if you're going to McDonald's and getting a Big Mac meal, that's like $8, and you feel like crap afterward. Yep. I can go to Chipotle, eat what I'm supposed to eat, get my water cup, and that's basically 2 meals.
Yeah.
Even if it's just 1 meal, like
that's still not the most expensive thing in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely doable. You just have to take time to do it. You got to want to do it.
I can't remember if I said this already, but I also luck out because like Laura is in good shape and she
No, you haven't
runs,
said that yet.
and we like
You have almost more of a support to do so because it's already around you.
100%.
Yeah.
It's hard whenever you have like somebody in your life that like kind of drags you down.
Sure.
And especially in that area, like Laura really built me up because like I've asked her to keep me accountable, even though it kind of sucks to hear sometimes. Hearing, "Are you sure you should be eating that?"
It's helpful for you.
It's helpful. It sucks to hear because it's like almost embarrassing,
Yeah.
but
If you take it for what the intention is meant for,
Yeah.
then sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I take things way too personally, so that's like something I struggle with, but it's something I have to like constantly remind myself that like no, she means well. She's not saying that because she's like picking on me or anything. She's like only saying that because
You asked her to
I
help you
asked her
towards your
to,
goal.
and she cares about me. Like, I don't want to like I don't want to be, 60 and having a heart attack because I'm like 150 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. Okay, I'll take a right turn because this
Let's
is my
do it.
last question, and I was thinking about it. It's a little bit of what I discussed with you and staff. Femininity and masculinity in the church.
Mm-hmm.
As a person that has to do Bible studies directly pointed towards men, let me first ask this question. Do you, in your own personal opinion, think that we have a male problem in the church? And by that I mean, do you think that there are far more women in the church than men? Let's start with that. Do you agree that that is true?
I agree that there are far more women.
Not in our church. I just mean in every church.
In
general.
church in general, usually it's the wife that's saying, "Hey, let's go to church today," instead of the husband.
Sure. Okay, so why do you think that is?
I think one reason is because culture tells us that going to church is uncool. Like in like school, I was always embarrassed that if people knew that I went to church because
And it wasn't like a religious thing. It just wasn't cool thing.
yeah.
Okay.
I also think like faith
Although
and
going to church,
yeah.
I don't care if it's cool or
I
not.
think
Anyway.
faith and religion is a very emotional, an emotional thing, and I think that deters men. Like,
Sure.
I mean,
The worship experience.
Thank God, I've ended up where I am, like being in church my whole life, and like I've still like ended up somewhat normal. Thank God, like I'm still in church, but like I hate showing my emotions. I hate talking about emotions. If like that's been a point of like tension in our marriage is like she's a very emotional person. I'm not, like, and we're like learning to like work through that.
Sure.
Men are not emotional beings, and I think that hinders
That plays a part.
men not wanting to come to church. I also think think of the right way to say this. I think that like men. So there was a study done a couple years ago where, and this like it kind of explains like the whole wage gap and everything. That people talk about there being a wage gap. So like over the course of the millions of cases that they did or whatever, or hundreds of thousands of cases, they said that that women choose to pay less or to get paid less. And the reason is because over the course of 1,000 cases or whatever, thousands of cases, millions of cases, however many it was, if I have a soccer game and if my kid has a soccer game and like a woman that I work with has a soccer game, I'm more likely to stay over the course of however many cases. I'm more likely to stay at work and go to the board meeting, and the woman is more likely to leave and go to the kids'
So what you're
soccer
saying
game.
is the woman values
So
family
that
more than the
incentivizes,
career.
because of that decision, that incentivizes men to get more promotion and get more pay, because over the course of however many cases, I know I've said that like 7 times. The men,
places.
the men choose to stay. The women choose to go to the soccer game or the dance recital. And that and saying that like the woman chooses technically because of the study to make less because men are more likely to stay and work. I think that is the same for church. Like the man is more likely to like work the long weekends and work the long hours. Therefore, Sunday is I'm gonna sit and watch a football game and relax rather than go to church because I've worked all week. The women, not that women work less than men or anything like that, and don't take
not
what
work hard or
don't
whatever.
take what I'm saying out of context. But like the women are usually. Women are usually more bold too, and they'll ask for the weekends off. Where the men usually will. Oh, I've got to impress my boss. I gotta work through the weekend. I think there's a lot of different factors that over time and through a lot of different people, you know.
So what you're getting at is pretty much where my brain is ticking to. How we're wired, I don't think, is how we've structurally made church to work that men don't find it immediately as appealing as women. I'm not saying that we've structured the church wrong. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is women like camaraderie in the fact that when they go, they want to have a conversation. They want to converse. They want to see who they can converse with. You got some messages.
Sorry, it's my family's group text.
And men don't. Like when men are really tired, they want to watch the football game. Mm-hmm. They want to go out with the boys that they've known for 20 years and just go to the bar. They want to do that.
I also think in different denominations, the situation is different. Because like in the church that I grew up in, oh my goodness. The church that I grew up in, it would be the opposite. The man is more likely to take charge and lead. It's more of a patriarchy.
Sure.
Like in the Church of God and Pentecostal kind of churches. Yeah. It's very much like a man is the leader of the house, which like I believe a lot in the patriarchy. I think a man should be the leader, and I think he should be the provider for his family. And there's different seasons where like Laura might be the breadwinner and I might be the breadwinner and so on. But like it's my personal belief that like the man should like lead the family. Sure. Like it's biblical, Sure. And I think in non-denominational kind of churches, that pressure isn't there as much. Not so much at Grace because I think Keith does a great job.
Does a solid job of challenging men in ways men want to be challenged. Yeah. Like guys want to be given a task. We want to win. Mm-hmm. Like give me something that I can put my hands to win. There's a lot of, once again, I'm not saying the church culture and whatever is false, but what I am saying is there's a lot of times when sermons and things are geared towards making you think about your emotions, how you think about yourself, what you do, but what they don't address is things that guys attach to, like what do you do at your workplace? Like how does this affect your career? Mm-hmm. How can you win as like a dad, as a husband? They don't call them to a higher call.
This might be an unpopular thought too, and this is just personally my opinion, but like I also think women are more likely to get together and circle up at somebody's house.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, women enjoy that type of thing more. Guys like to do like action-oriented.
If you say hey guys, we're gonna do like a cook-off, a grill-off kind of thing, or like hey, I'm having this thing at my house. Like I know this is an unpopular opinion in church, but whatever. If I were to text 20 guys right now and say, text 2 separate messages. One that says like, hey, I'm having a Bible study at the church. We're going to meet in the family room and we're going to sit on the couches and like sit in a circle and talk about it. Or if I say, if I say that, or if I say, hey guys, I'm having a bonfire at my house. A bunch of guys are coming. Feel free to bring bourbon and cigars, and we're going to sit around and just kind of hang out and catch up on life. I guarantee you 10 out of 10 times, more people are going to come to that than the first one. That is not allowed in churches though. That I mean, and there's nothing wrong with it. I think Grace does a good job
Sure.
of their policies and everything. But that second
yeah,
option,
you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong.
that second option is going to be that second option is not going to ever happen at Grace or be backed by Grace.
Sure. Or a lot of other churches.
The church I came from, Rivers Crossing, we did a whole kickoff in our parking lot where there was like 12, and you got to kind of pick which group you wanted to be a part of, and then that's ended up being what it's called Fire Pit Group. And like at our church in the parking lot, there was like 12 fire pits. Everyone had like cigars if people wanted them. Everyone had coolers if people wanted a beer, or you could drink like bourbon or whatever. And that was like the kickoff. And then we ended up having it to where it split out. So like I was the guy who owned Sonder, that brewery,
Sure.
in Cincinnati.
Yep.
I was a part of his fire pit group, and he would like have kegs of beer if we like wanted a drink,
Or
or
worked at Sonder.
or some people would bring their own beer or bourbon. And of course we have to keep each other accountable. So like if somebody's like drinking too much, then we would say something like, we don't want people to stumble. But it was a comfortable place for people to come and share life, and that grew and grew and grew, and it is like a huge thing now.
So that's number one. What you're stating is the environment of the church is not as comfortable to a man as it is to a woman.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to restate what you're saying. And
Yeah.
and just this one more thought, because this is another person that's on staff that literally said this to me. I was like, yeah, exactly. He said, my wife loves to talk to her friends. Like when she gets free time, she likes to just call her friends and talk.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I don't want to do that. After I get off work, I don't want to like call my buddy to talk.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I don't love them. It doesn't mean I want to experience life with them. I just don't want to do that.
I've gotten, in this hour, I've gotten like 8 emails, and I haven't gotten any emails all day, by the way. Like my phone is 4 emails, but like my phone is full of notifications.
Oh yeah.
I haven't gotten any notifications all day until we started to want to record.
It just exploded.
But yeah, Laura has her group on Wednesday mornings where they get together and they drink coffee and they, talk about their feelings and everything. And then like that group of guys at Bob Evans or at Cracker Barrel this morning, like guys are more likely to get up to go to like a breakfast and like at like a Cracker Barrel or Bob Evans or whatever.
We are to circle around. So like a book club, very hard there are some for men. Book clubs are just not rolling for dudes.
I think like in order for a men's group to work, you have to appeal to them.
Yeah.
Like the reason that girls' Bible studies work is because they enjoy Bible studies. Guys don't enjoy Bible studies. If I'm gonna hang out with my friends, to be honest, I'd rather go somewhere and drink a glass of bourbon and smoke a cigar with 5 or 6 other guys, and in that instance I'm more likely to share about what's going on in my life than I am if I'm at the church in a classroom with somebody in front of me and he's standing at the front. All right guys, tell me about your week, what's going on, like tell me about your marriage.
Sure.
I'm more likely to share in an environment that I'm more comfortable.
I would also say, and this could be completely off, I think I really don't want to label this to gender. There's something like guys form clumps. So like if a guy and another guy he knows like want to go to a thing, they'll go to a thing. And then there'll be 4 clumps of guys, and that's a small group. And then that small group becomes a clump of guys. And then you have 5 small groups of clumps of guys. It's really hard to just get one single dude to just roll into a thing. Mm-hmm. He has to already be attached to someone else. So you have to create scenarios or ways for him to already almost have pre-community to really get him actually into the community. That makes it really hard.
Yeah.
So that's like one of the struggles I've been trying to do is it's really hard to get new random people to just show up.
Yeah, it's hey, I'm having this thing. Oh, cool. Can I bring my buddy?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And like that's a way more effective way than it is to just try and grab a random guy. And
that's why I told you whenever it was the other day, like, you said that you're just having a hard time getting, guys to come to men's Bible study. In my opinion, like an incentive for me to go is like, if I saw somebody like me, you, Isaiah, Josh, and Brad or whatever, like, or Isaac, whatever.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I knew like, oh, if I called you up and said, hey, I have this group of people that like are getting to do this guys like hangout thing. It's a Bible study. I have this group of guys that are doing this like guys hangout thing. Do you want to go with me? If I were to say that versus Laura coming to me and saying like, hey, they're starting this new men's Bible study. I know like you don't really know anybody there, but like you should go. You got to kind of do what appeal. You can't just.
Which I've also had that. Their wife goes to women's and they're like, you should really go to the men's. And then they show up at men's. It's never because the guy is like, I really want to go to it. There are a few. It is not.
I think it'd be important to make it more appealing, which, it's kind of one of the, it's kind of like, not to, relate religion to anything else, but it's kind of similar to like, the weight loss thing that we're just talking about. If the church, not Grace, but if the church, Big C Church, doesn't make changes to appeal to that group or incentivize it, then like it's like the same thing with weight loss. Like until I'm not fully in a weight loss journey until like I really start seeing the change, and it has to be in a way that like works best for me.
That's the hardest part of the weight loss journey is it's going to take you about 6 or 7 weeks to start seeing it. And by that time, most people bail.
But like, I also have to like see like, and that's how like weight loss programs work. Like I see, this worked out for you. I'm going to do Atkins because I saw it work for you.
Right.
Rob Lowe, I saw it work
Rob
for
Lowe.
He's the Atkins spokesman.
Oh.
It's the same kind of thing with like church and religion and Bible study. Like, I see you guys are, I saw this picture.
I see the effect of like, why do you look so different, Christian?
Yeah.
Let me tell you about that.
Same thing. God bless.
Yeah, that is interesting.
God bless.
Well,
that was a good one.
I guess so, huh?
I guess so.
Oh, I think we rolled through that. All we did was talk about men and health.
Yeah, basically.
Love it.
That's a good one.
All right, man. Well, thanks everybody.
Well, next time
it might not. It's probably not going to be.
It probably won't be you. I'll probably bring in a sub.
Sub them in. Let them play, coach.
Yeah, and then you should be back. Hopefully in a month.
I mean, fingers crossed. That's a long
4
time.
weeks or so. I mean, this will get us through 2 weeks.
And then you got another person that'll come in.
I can bring in a couple other people.
Yeah.
But
I'll be fine.
But you'll be missed.
Yeah.
Maybe we could. Maybe I could send you with like a camera and we could do like a Zoom.
I have like a cast or I just look terrible.
Yeah, we could do a Zoom.
I'll be in a hospital bed.
Version.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
See ya in a couple months.
Then see ya.
God bless.